Yo, welcome to NBA Nerd Talk, couple nerds talking basketball. As always, I am your host, Mikey Prince, aka Kid With Game.
What's up? It's Hugo, aka Juice. What's going on, people? What's going on?
What's going on? So, yesterday, opening night, NBA season, we got to address the big elephant in the room, Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, first off, speedy recovery to you, Gordon. Hopefully everything works out and you're back by playoff time because Boston gonna need you. But yeah, tough break, man. First first quarter, like it's crazy.
Tough break. I don't think he'll be back by playoff time. According to reports, it was a dislocated ankle and a fractured tibia. So,
I mean,
not looking good.
Yeah, it's not, but you never know. Anything can happen from here to there. We've seen people come back from worse faster, so who knows? I doubt it, but always leave the optimistic side out of there.
Yeah, it definitely hurt. I mean, Gordon Hayward, I've said from the beginning, even in the first episode, I think Gordon Hayward was the most underrated player coming into the season, signing with the Boston Celtics. I thought he was going to help huge. He was going to be a huge part of that Boston Celtics team, being the second best player behind Kyrie Irving. And now you lose a guy that could give you 25 points a night, a guy that was really just that second leader and veteran on a very young Celtics team, which leads to my question: what are the Boston Celtics now without Gordon Hayward?
I still think, I mean, you look at the team, potentially still top 3 team in the East. Still have Kyrie. You go back to playing with Marcus Smart, but for the most part, they're still the same team as last year. Yeah, you lose a lot of role players, but I don't see them dropping out of top 3, top 4. I still think they get home court advantage, I should say, in the first round. But I don't see any other teams taking over the thrones.
I think that with Gordon Hayward, they would have been an easy slot for the second seed, maybe 2, depending on how Cleveland wanted to play out that season. I think now I don't think they could finish number 2. I think it'll be really, really tough for them to finish at number 2 now, because now when you look at the roster of the Boston Celtics, they're very young. They have Jason Tatum is 19, Jaylen Brown is 20, Marcus Smart is 23. So now it went from I think they went from a contender team to a playoff team, losing Gordon Hayward. And like I said, you lose a guy that could give you an easy 25 points a night aside from Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving's still going to get his points, and I think now he's probably going to score maybe even like 5-10 more extra points without Gordon Hayward on the team. So he's still going to get his. But now, who's that second guy that has to step up on that team now? Who has to be that second leader?
Horford. I mean, he's getting paid all that money. Might as well step up at some point. He hasn't done it since he signed with them. So, but this is his opportunity to say, you know what, I got to live up to what they're paying me to, because right now he hasn't. So, could be interesting.
Can he be that guy? Can he be the second scorer on that? Because me personally, I don't think he can. I think the second player that has to step up, it has to be between Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart, even before the Hayward injuries, Marcus Smart had a lot to prove because they lost Avery Bradley, and Marcus Smart had to be that defensive guard now that could help with the backcourt. So that pressure was kind of always there on him. I think now it just got a little added to it after Hayward. But I think Jaylen Brown was probably the guy that really had to go out and score. And he did it last night. He had 25 points. So it's there. So, and Marcus Smart played a hell of a game defensively towards that third and fourth quarter. He really lit it up and took over for the defense. So now it becomes a question of, can a young Jaylen Brown, a Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum rookie year, can they do that on a night-to-night basis for an 82-game season? And that's really where I think I don't know.
Even if they can't, even if one of those guys can't do it on a night-to-night basis, if you could get contributions or at least 25 a game from one of those guys every night where they rotate, that's fine. You don't need that one guy to say, I'm going to be the number 2 option. If all 3 of those guys could split up the time, like you go out and score 25, then I'll do it. Of course, they're not going to sit down and plan that. Right. But I'm saying if it can happen, I don't see them dropping under the under the 4 seed. You look at the rest of the East. You have Washington. I'm talking about top four. You have Washington, Milwaukee, possibly, and Toronto. Other than that, it's Boston. Boston's in the clear. So,
Well, yeah, they're still going to be a playoff team. That's guaranteed.
I mean, it'll be interesting, but definitely a tough break, literally and figuratively. So we'll see, what happens from here on out with them.
Yeah, it was painful to watch. I saw that live, and it was something 6 minutes into a season that had so much potential. And Gordon Hayward. I said Gordon Hayward was the most underrated player going in, and he was really one of my favorite players going to the season. I was really looking forward to watching him and Kyrie just being the new duo in the East that could really work well together. And now, we'll see what this does for Boston. I still think, yes, Boston is a playoff team. I don't think they're the second best team in the East anymore. I think maybe Washington took that spot. Milwaukee, if Giannis, it turns out to be this, could bring his game to an even next level, which he's already, talked about being the best player in the NBA, about soon to be. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Kyrie. Kyrie Irving now has to be a leader for a very young team. And now everybody was saying Kyrie wanted to run his own team. I think this is going to be, now he has to.
It's going to take a toll on him, though. It's going to take a toll on his body because he's going to carry that team. And although they have a lot of good role players and everything, not play style, but I compare it to Penny Hardaway when Shaq left.
Right.
Penny Hardaway put that team on his back and broke down body-wise. Hopefully it doesn't happen with Kyrie, because he's not, that same type of player.
Right.
But it is going to be very, very tough for a kid that never led a team before to go into a year where he was like, yeah, I got my guys, yada, 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 to now, all right, I'm alone again.
Right.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting, but best of luck to Hayward and best of luck to Kyrie because they kind of need it.
Yeah, they do. But moving past that injury and that game, what did you see from Boston after the Gordon Hayward injury from just the first game of the regular season, going up against Cleveland?
They have fight in them. They never gave up. I mean, they went down big and then they came back. They lost by 3.
Yeah.
They had a great look with Kyrie over LeBron to take that shot. So even without Hayward, they kept, the Eastern Conference champions in check.
Mm-hmm.
And defensively, offensively, they did what they had to. So that's another reason why I say I'm not too worried about Boston.
Right.
Because they showed they can still play and still keep a close game in there with the best.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, defensively, offensively, they look great. They looked like they didn't miss a beat since he was gone. And that showed a lot. What'd you think of them?
I thought they show a lot of fight. Like I said, I think when they needed it, players stepped up. Jaylen Brown had a great first start of the NBA season. Marcus Smart, now he's probably going to end up being the starting 2 guard the rest of the season now, and I think he handled it very well. He came in, he played defensively, he got some good steals, he made some tough shots. He definitely took advantage of weaker defenders that were on him, like a Kyle Korver, and that's something you want to see from him moving forward, and that's something you could hope he could do hopefully for the rest of the season. Again, they lost Avery Bradley. They lost arguably their best perimeter defender. Who has to replace that role? You need Marcus Smart there. Marcus Smart has to be that guy. I think the real big question now, because you do move Marcus Smart to the starting 2 guard, now the backup point guard. Now you probably need to expect a little bit more than what you was hoping to expect from your backups. So now the bench, you're really gonna have to see what the bench could do, because and when you do get Markieff Morris, how well can he factor in? I think he'll be fine. I think him and Al Horford in that front court, it's still gonna be an improvement. They're still gonna be a good team, but
yeah,
Gordon Hayward is a huge loss for that team.
It is. I mean, Rozier has to pick it up, and then when Morris comes back, you got a decision to make. Do you keep Morris off the bench, or do you move Tatum to the bench and bring Morris into the starting lineup? So I mean, either way, you're gonna have a little bit more depth when he comes back. So I do agree with that. But like you said, there's no other way to put it. They're gonna be just
Yeah. Second game, Rockets Warriors. Rockets.
If I'm not mistaken, we texted right before the game started. I said I'm hoping for an upset, and an upset happened.
We got it. 1 point. 1 point is all I need. But the big question that I really want to know from you from that game: how did you like the CP3 and Harden duo?
Didn't like it.
No.
Nope. I mean, maybe I expected too much. But when you have CP3 going 2 of 9 from the field, of course that's gonna change. Passing wise, he looked great. He had 11 assists. But that game isn't that close if Draymond doesn't go out and if Iguodala plays.
Mm-hmm.
Iguodala didn't play, and then Draymond goes down with the injury. At the time, Draymond had 11 rebounds, 13 assists.
Yep.
And then you get rid of that. It's tough. So, I mean, they were moving the ball through him, and then to stop it, of course, you'd expect a team like that, champions 2 out of the last 3 years, to just pick up like nothing happened. But it's tough. As far as the Rockets, though, I didn't really like what I saw.
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
I agree. It is. I think it's going to be one of those things where if they do connect, if they do end up learning how to gel and fit CP3 in a Mike D'Antoni 10 seconds or less offense, I don't think we're really going to really see that perfectly formed till maybe mid-season, towards the end of the season, maybe playoffs. I think it's going to take time to build. I think, and then I think CP3 is such a ball dominant player that when James Harden is going to bring the ball up the court, you see Chris Paul now has to be off the ball player. He has to be the guy standing in the corner. He has to be the guy running around, ready to catch and shoot. Now you're expecting more 3-point plays from Chris Paul, more threes. So I mean, it's definitely an adjustment. I think I think his shooting is probably not going to be there because he's not taking Chris Paul type shots, but his passing is still going to be there, still playmaking. I think when James Harden goes to the bench and you let Chris Paul be the only guy there, I think it's an entirely different system or offense that's going to be run, more slow down pace. So that's definitely going to be an adjustment. My guy that I really enjoyed watching from the Rockets, who was Eric Gordon, and
yeah,
I think he's going to have an even better season than he did last year. Because yeah, he's still coming off the bench. He's still just playing your 6-man role, but he has a big role because he's gonna the guy that's gonna come in for either Chris Paul or James Harden every time they switch. So I think he's gonna play the most of the minutes, and he's a great shooter.
He's the X factor of that team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel if he's not on, the Rockets don't do much. And not just yesterday, but just in general.
Right.
So he's definitely that. You look at that team and you say, Eric Gordon's the most important player. Because James Harden, Chris Paul, you don't really have to worry about. I know I said, I wasn't impressed with Chris Paul's 2 for 9. That changes. Chris Paul's not going to shoot that way the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
That was one game. Chris Paul's one of the best mid-range and 3-point shooting point guards. So I'm not too worried about that. You're going to have games where Chris Paul is going to come out and score 25, 30.
Yep.
So, I mean, in an aspect, in a bubble, they're going to be okay as well, like we said with Boston.
Mm-hmm.
But you do see a lot of room of improvement. One person that I was very impressed by on the opposite side.
I think I know who you're going to say.
Swaggy P. I mean,
what?
You gotta, excuse me, you gotta look at it as dude led the Warriors in scoring last night.
Yeah. I mean, just on last night alone, 6th man of the year? What? Question mark? Huh?
This guy, look, last year he had a great year. And when he signed, he was on the Lakers. He had a great year. We did bad. When he signed with Golden State, I told a lot of people I know, watch out for him. That's this type of style he plays. He plays with just going up there and just shooting up threes. What better system for a player like that to go to than Golden State?
Yeah.
What'd he do? He went out there, shot 6 for 7, 8 of 9 for them field. Led them in scoring, scored more than Curry, Draymond, Clay, and KD.
20 points in the first half.
My point exactly. So he did slow down in the second half, but when you have a guy like that coming off your bench and efficient the way he was yesterday, it just makes him that more dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
go ahead, finish.
No, you're fine. It's gonna be interesting, especially with Jordan Bell. Also, Jordan Bell very efficient. They had high hopes for him. He went 4 for 5 from the field, off the bench. So they're looking they're looking pretty good, as much as I hate to say it.
Well, the Warriors, they didn't go 82-0, big whoop. They're fine. They're still gonna be the number 1 seed in the West. They're still gonna have the best record in the NBA this season. I think they could go win 70 games. I don't think they're gonna break their 73 record, whatever, but they could win 68, 70 games. I could see that. Swaggy P, though, this guy, I think what's so great about signing him to the Warriors was you don't need nothing from him just to be ready to shoot. And that's all you need from him. And the guy that accepts that role and wants that role and just be like, oh, you just need me to catch and shoot? Fine, I'll do it. Whatever. Just whenever you give me the ball, I'm ready to go. And then be as efficient as he was. I don't think he's going to be that efficient every game. I don't think he's going to only miss one shot. He's going to have his games. But just a guy like that could consistently come off the bench and just be your scorer off the bench, I think he can lead the league off the bench in scoring. I think he could be the best off the bench player. And if that is the case, I think he will win Sixth Man of the Year. And if it's any indications of that first game, I know it's one game, but a guy that wants to accept that role and just be a pure shooter, I don't see how you could go wrong with that at all. That is just
my point exactly. And Nick Young is one of those guys that it's all about confidence. Mm-hmm. And after this game, his confidence to begin with, even if he goes 0 for 20, his confidence is out the roof. After a game like this, playing on a team like this, forget about it. That man is going to be just so relaxed, just knowing, even if I do go 0 for 10, we're probably going to win, and they probably ain't going to say nothing wrong to me. So just having that pressure off of you where you don't have to make the shot is going to make him make those shots a lot easier. Right. So, big ups to Swaggy. I see you doing your thing, but they're gonna be just okay. A 1 point loss. I mean, KD shot got waved off, and like I said, Iggy didn't play. You had Draymond come out, only played 27 minutes, so that plays a factor in it as well. You gotta factor in everything like that, and they'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, they're. I'm not worried about them. Plus, Draymond Green left. Draymond Green never left that game. They probably would have won that game anyway. And easily. Again, you didn't have Iguodala there, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine. But I'm very excited for this NBA season. We're here. It's finally here. Last week we did promise you our award predictions, so let's run through those real quick. We'll give each other 2-3 minutes our picks, and then we'll see what we have and we don't have.
Cool? All right. Sounds good to me.
Let's start right off. Let's start with Rookie of the Year. Who do you have winning Rookie of the Year?
I'm not being biased here, even though I'm a Lakers fan. I have Lonzo Ball winning it. Only because he's in the perfect position to win it.
Right.
He's in the position where you're asking him to lead the team. You're asking him to come in and do everything that he does. So I see him coming in this year and possibly averaging a double-double with points and assists. It's going to be hard to top him. I also have my runner-up in Dennis Smith. But again, Dennis Smith is going to be more of that scoring person. And there's going to be a little bit more pressure on him to, carry the load because Dallas hasn't been very good in the past years. Dirk is a little bit up there in age. Wesley Matthews didn't have the year that they expected him to have.
Right.
So, but with Lonzo Ball just being in that system where everything is just going to roll and go through him, I just don't see how he can lose the Rookie of the Year race. Who you got winning it?
I actually do have Dennis Smith Jr. And this pick saying Dennis Smith Jr. hurts me a lot because unlike you, I am a Knicks fan. And on draft night, I had every prayer in the book being said that the Knicks would draft Dennis Smith Jr. I really, really, really wanted this guy. Uh, I'm. I don't want to get into who the Knicks ended up getting because I have my mixed feelings about that. But I do think Dennis Smith Jr. can win Rookie of the Year. And the reason why I think he can win Rookie of the Year, yes, the Mavericks are a very bad team this year. Yes, they're going to be one of the worst. But you move Dirk to the 5. There's no true center going to be on that team, which means the the ocean has been spread it apart. Dennis Smith Jr. has a free range every night to get to the basket. The offensive plan, I think offensively he will lead all rookies in scoring. And he has the ability to do that. He can attack the paint. He has there's a three ball there, and even when he does, and you collapse, and he has to kick it out, you still have Dirk Nowitzki there in the corner, and that, yeah, they're not going to win a lot of games, but they are going to be getting their points. And I think Dennis Smith Jr. can lead all rookies in scoring, and that's why I think he can win Rookie of the Year. I think he can win Rookie of the Year just on what he brings to the table offensively.
I agree, and that's why I had him as my runner-up. Only thing I disagree with what you said is putting Dirk at the 5, only because you got Nerlens Noel.
Well, no, but
Um,
they said that they want Noiswell to come off the bench, so that's why they're going to start Dirk at the 5.
okay,
That's what they're going to do.
okay,
And then
so
I also feel like they're starting Dirk at the 5 because this is potentially his last NBA season, because he said he wants to play 20 years and this makes 20th. And I think that they want him to be more of just a pure shooter in terms of being in the corner, spreading the court where no one could guard him. Because if he can average, I believe they said if he averages around 16 to 18 points, something like that, and he could play a full 70 plus games, he could actually be in the top 5 and on the all time scoring list. And I think that's the Mavericks' mindset going in, is that they want Dirk to achieve that goal. So he's going to get his points, but I think Dennis Smith Jr. by default becomes probably the second option, maybe even the first option on that team now. Because again, Harrison Barnes is inconsistent. You don't know what you're getting out of Wesley Matthews, and their bench is So I do think that, that's why I think Dennis Smith Jr. can lead in scoring, and he leads rookies in scoring, and I think that's why he could potentially be Rookie of the Year.
yeah, I don't see any other rookie beating him out in scoring. So I completely agree with that. It's going to be interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong; they're going to be another fun team to watch
Yeah,
because all the young guys you have, like you said, Dennis Smith, you have Seth Curry, Wesley Harrison, Nerlens Nowitzki. I mean, I could keep going, but yeah, they'll be very interesting. I guess we'll see how they look come their opener
yeah,
and see what flashes we can grasp.
yes, we'll see. All right, so jumping right in, who's your most improved player this year
Hmm. It's tough. I'm gonna roll with Aaron Gordon. I expect to
from
see a
the Orlando
huge
Magic?
yes. I expect to see a huge improvement from him. He hasn't really lived up to too much potential, but coming from where he's been and not having too many guys around him, I feel like at this point he'll pick it up. He'll average more points. I feel like he'll rebound more than what he usually does. So I could see him coming in and just taking over this year.
Right.
But that's my front runner for most improved. This award's always tough for me, so I'm just gonna roll with him. Who you got going?
My pick is maybe not a great pick, just because he didn't play a lot last year, so I'm not really sure if he qualifies for most improved player. But I had Joel Embiid winning it. After what I saw his first game in preseason, he's played 15 minutes and scored 20, what was it, 22, 23 points.
Yeah,
And then, I think he's gonna have a great year. He I think he's gonna beat a lot of people's expectations. I see Joel Embiid playing a good 60 plus games this year. They said they're gonna start him off with a minutes restriction, but if preseason indication, minutes restriction, who cares? He's still gonna get his points. But I think he could be a great. I think he's gonna improve everything. He averaged almost 20 points last year in 31 games. I think he could average 22, 23. I think he's going to lead. I think he could lead the Philadelphia 76ers in points per game. I think he could lead the Philadelphia 76ers in rebounds. and
Blocks.
blocks. So I think that if he can qualify for Most Improved Player of the Year after only playing 31 games last year, I think he is the Most Improved Player of the Year. And I really I think that's a tough one. I think he can. I think he could really take that award. That's my pick.
I agree. I mean, if he does qualify, I agree with that. Only because, like you said, look at what he's done in such little time.
Right.
You give him a full year doing it, he can arguably be, health aside, the best center in the league.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
He could shoot the three, he could block, he could go down low, he could post, he could dunk. There's nothing you could say that man can't do. So I definitely agree with that.
All right, this one's tough. Who do you have for Defensive Player of the Year?
Draymond. I mean, there's no explanation. I don't have to explain nothing. I just see him repeating. I mean, when you look at it, there's not a lot of guys defensively that can compete with him. It's gonna be between him and Kawhi, like always, 1 and 2. LeBron's name might be thrown in the mix, but Draymond. I mean, like I said, it's I hate the Warriors, and I hate Draymond especially. Like, I hate him the most. But if he was on my team, that dude will be my favorite player. Um, I just I don't see anybody dethroning him. I can't see it. He's our new age Dennis Rodman. I know we said Michael Beasley as far as style wise, but defensively and rebounding wise, he's Dennis Rodman of this generation.
I agree with that. However, I do have somebody dethroning him, and my pick was the guy that came in top 3 last year, and I'm going with Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz. I think Rudy Gobert, he played really great last year defensively, being the second best player for the Utah behind Gordon Hayward. This year he is the guy on the Utah Jazz. He has to be the number one guy. I think all his stats will go up. I think his points per games is going to go up. They're going to give him the ball more, especially playing with a pass first point guard like Ricky Rubio now. That's going to go up. If you've been watching his workout videos on his Instagram, he is ripped. He is ready to play defense, and I think he could lead the NBA in blocks per game, and I think he could probably finish maybe top 5 in rebounding too. But I think he came into the league as a defensive anchor. I think now it's fun. We're finally going to see it this year, even better than what it was last year. And last year was pretty damn good. And I think he can. I think he could win Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's the guy that could take it from Draymond Green.
I agree. If I had to pick somebody to dethrone him, it would be him. Him or Kawhi. But it's just with the aspect of Draymond being able to get steals as well. That's where he has the upper hand on Gobert, where Gobert is just one of those, I'm going to block everything I see. Draymond's going to block everything he sees and pick passes up and pick pockets and, do all of that. So that's the only reason why I give him the edge, because there's not a lot of people that can do as much as what Draymond does defensively.
Yeah, that one's going to be between them two. I think that will be fun to watch defensively.
Definitely.
Who's sitting Sixth Man of the Year?
It's a tough one. I mean, you have, in my opinion, you got 3 guys that could thrive with that. First off, Jamal Crawford, Mr. Six Man. Coming in, with that team. You have Eric Gordon coming in with the Rockets. That's a given. And I mean, he wasn't in the discussion before yesterday, but Nick Young. Now, if I had to choose, I would choose Eric Gordon, only because I feel like he has the best opportunity to thrive, and we've already seen what he can do in that offense. Going back to last year, seeing what he can do off the bench. So just because we already have a sample size of what he's done with that specific organization, I give it to him. But definitely keep an eye out for all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. I had Eric Gordon back-to-back Sixth Man of the Year champ. My close call before yesterday's game, and I had Swagger P and all that. My second place was actually going to be Shabazz Muhammad, because I think coming off the bench for the Timberwolves, I think he can have a great Sixth Man of the Year type candidate performance for the Timberwolves coming off the bench. But I think knowing what Gordon Hayward already brings to the table and knowing how he could just take over a game offensively by himself pretty much, I think I see him repeating. I don't see how someone really dethrowing him other than maybe like a Swaggy P for being a jump shot god after last night.
Yeah, I mean, Swaggy P's that dark horse candidate. But yeah, I don't see anybody dethroning Eric Gordon because just what he brings off that bench, and like I said, he's been in that system. You're not taking somebody like Swaggy P or Jamal Crawford where they're coming from one
Right.
system to play for another. He's been there, he's done that, he already won it with them.
Right.
We agree. I don't see him losing that.
All right. Coach of the year.
Hmm. I This is a tough one. I want you to answer first because I'm stuck. I'm stuck between about three coaches.
Right.
You know what? I'll answer it. I'm stuck between D'Antoni again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck between Billy Donovan for the Thunder
Right. Right.
and Tyronn Lue. I hate that these coaches get it when they've been good all these years, but Donovan, I feel like he could win it only because we could probably see a huge improvement from the Thunder,
Mm-hmm.
from what they did last year to this year. So I have him as the front runner, but then again, D'Antoni, if Houston could simulate what they did last year and almost copy what they've done, it's hard to not give it to D'Antoni as well. And then of course Tyronn Lue with the Cavs. I mean, only because they finished as the 2 seed last year and then they finished, as the 1 seed this year, is gonna be, oh look, he improved it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
I have them three, but I would like to see Billy Donovan win it.
Yeah, I have Billy Donovan. I think OKC. I think this year they're gonna jump. They were 6 seed last year. I think, my opinion. I think they take this. They're a lock for a second seed. That's my opinion. I think they're gonna be the second best team in the West behind the Warriors. I think that's a huge jump. I also think that because they're gonna be that good this year, Billy Donovan having to learn how to get Russell Westbrook, Carmelo, and Paul George to all play together and play together well. I think that kind of puts him in that coach of the year talk. If they can gel quickly, win a lot of games quickly, which I think they can, I do see Billy Donovan taking home coach of the year. And I
Yeah,
think he can.
I don't think gelling will be an issue. I mean, Westbrook and Melo played together almost all off season in the lab,
Yeah.
so they pretty much got that down packed. And then Paul George just fits right into that mix. So I agree. Billy Donovan, I mean, it's his to lose pretty much.
Yeah. All right, a tough one. Who's MVP this year? Who's going to be the best player in the regular season?
Huh. I'm gonna say the Greek Freak.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. He's a very very dark horse candidate. But with the challenge that Kobe put out there for him to win it, with the praise that he's getting from all these guys around the league, such as KD, it's hard to say he won't. It was, if I'm not mistaken, the first or the second time in history that one player led his team in rebounds, assists, points, blocks, steals. If I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
he led in all five categories in his team, and I only see that improving. I
Yeah.
see all his numbers going up, and if he can go up from all the numbers that he put up last year, it's going to be very, 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 very hard to pass on him. I also see them moving up in the ranks. If I'm not mistaken, Milwaukee was about 6 seed, I believe,
Last
or so.
season, last season they were fourth, if I'm not mistaken.
Fourth. Okay, I
Fourth or
mean, I see
fifth,
them.
one of the two. I remember.
I see them around there, or maybe even moving up to top three, especially with the Hayward injury.
Yeah.
With Boston moving down, Milwaukee could move up. So if they could get a win improvement, and as we all expect for his numbers all across the board to bolster up, I mean, it's hard to pass on him.
That's good. I agree with that. My pick, and I also went with a guy that no one's really talking about for MVP. I think this could be the year Anthony Davis could finally win the MVP. I think Anthony Davis, he's been dominating the scores for the last couple of years now, just carrying a team by himself. I think with the Pelicans this year, I have the Pelicans making the playoffs for DeMarcus Cousins first time, Anthony Davis second time, and I think their wins totals improve. I think last year Davis averaged, I believe it was 27 and 11 or 12. I think it's going to be that same number. I think he could be a 28, 29 point scorer. I think he's going to still get his 11 to 15 rebounds a night. I think the biggest improvement we're going to see from Anthony Davis this year is assists. I think his assists is going to go up as well because I was watching an interview where he said that he was going to be more of the passer and that DeMarcus Cousins be the shooter, the jump shotter, and let Anthony Davis be the one in the paint. So we'll see how that works. If it does work, I could see Anthony Davis's numbers are improving. I think he's still one of the leaders in blocks per game. He could still steal the ball, run the fast break like a point guard. I think for a while now, I personally wanted to see him win MVP. I think because of the success the Pelicans are going to have this year, they're not going to be a great team to look out for, but they are going to win a lot of games. I have Anthony Davis taking home the MVP this year.
I see it happening. It's just with him, it's a matter of health. Can he stay healthy every game? He's already probable.
Yeah.
Listed for game one. You went a whole off season and you're listed probable for game one. I mean, his health just does not let that man strive. He still puts up numbers through the injuries and everything. I completely agree. He's another dark horse candidate. So I would like to see him win it, but like you said, it just all depends on his team's success, and it all depends on his health. If he can stay healthy and his team does well, him and Greek Freak could be fighting for that one.
I think we could see it. So I don't think there's any debate on who's going to the NBA Finals, right? We
I
both
was just
know,
gonna say we both know the Warriors are gonna win it again.
we both know Warriors and Cavs are going to the NBA Finals, right? There's no debate.
Yeah.
So real quick, tell me, since that we move on from that, tell me who wins and how many games and who is taking home Finals MVP.
Warriors win in 6, and I would say KD takes it again. I don't really have to go into like discussions or really have to put anything out there. I mean, they're just gonna repeat. He's gonna repeat as the MVP, only because he's their leading scorer, and what he did last year, I don't see him failing to do it again this year. And then they did, the Cavs did pick up a few pieces, so I could be wrong in the games. It could go 7, but that home court advantage being, in Golden State, I can't fathom the thought of LeBron beating the Warriors in their home stadium again 2 times. I just can't see it. Who you got?
No argument. I say Warriors in 6. Kevin Durant Finals MVP. I think a guy that averaged 31 points in last year's NBA Finals. He's still in his prime. I don't see that number dropping. Yes, Cleveland do have better defenders in the Jay Crowder and LeBron's still there. They're bringing Dwayne Wade, sure, but I think Kevin Durant is still hungry. Yeah, this is the Warriors as a total. Curry, Clay. This is their 4th time going to go to the NBA Finals. It's only Kevin Durant's 2nd. So that hunger for him is still going to be there. He still wants to win. He still wants to be. He doesn't want to be a one and done guy. And I think that hunger will still be there in the playoffs. I think he's going to average even more than 31 points this year. I think he could go up to probably 33. A healthy Stephen Curry. That guy's still, that I don't know. I only give them 6 games just because Cavaliers did get better defensively a little bit. So I'd say there might be a home game in there that the Cavs could win, and they might steal one on the road. But other than that, we're gonna see the Warriors hold up the trophy again.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like we both said it. We hate to say it. We hate the Warriors. I guess now I know how everybody felt when the Lakers were winning, and I was over there like, "Yay, we're winning!" But it's tough to see, especially a Western Conference team just dominating like this. But it'll be an interesting season, and especially if everything goes as planned, a very, very interesting postseason. I definitely don't see them going 16-1 again. I definitely don't see them going undefeated until the finals again. I see them going through a few tough battles.
Yep.
In my opinion, in every round. So that's gonna be the tall tale. How much gas they still have in the West once they get to the finals, because the Cavs right now looks like it's gonna be another breeze. to get to the finals. So the Cavs, in my opinion, may have more energy.
Yeah.
So that may be the difference, but we'll see. It'll definitely be fun to watch.
It's definitely going to be fun to watch. We will definitely see. Hey, everybody that's watching, let us know in the comments below if you agree, disagree with our award predictions. Who you think is going to the finals? You think is taking home the awards? Are we crazy for picking these dark horses for MVP? Let us know. If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, the subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And yeah, this is another episode of NBA Nerd Talk. Mike and Prince, Hugo.
Share. Is Juice here? Just share that button, like it. Let us know what we can improve on. Anything you guys want to talk about, let us know. We'll get those topics in there as well.
Yeah, let us know. And hope we're having a great season. We'll be back next week. So, signing off. We'll see you.
See you guys next week.